This is Irontrader, and this is midday trading. Looks like the market here is turning green on us, which is very, very nice. Okay, we're going to take a look here at Bitcoin, and then on a daily and a 1 minute and a 5 minute chart. Then we're going to take a look here at Bitcoin, and then IBIT and the BITX, which is the ETFs. Then we'll take a look here at Disney, Uber, McDonald's, and AMD. Okay, this video is for information purposes only, not a recommendation to buy, selling stock market ETF. Please like, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Okay, here we have Bitcoin, your daily chart, and then we have the 1 minute and we have a 5 minute chart. Now, a lot of times I also use a tick chart and a 15-minute chart. If you want to slow it down, you can use a 30-minute chart or 1 hour, a 4-hour chart, but always look at that daily. That's going to be very, very key. That's all your resistance and support levels. Okay, so when we look at this, yesterday we put that bottoming candle, but so far today we made this high of 115.930. Yesterday we had a high of 115.870. So right now we have a higher high and a higher low. The key is going to be right here, is going to be that 116.492. There's your 8-day. That you see how that crossed over. And then we have that 117.271. And then we have to see if you can get above that. Then we just come to the bottom there. You're looking at 117.775. We come up down there, 118.295. And then we start off the top. You got 119.785. We come up there, 124.15. And then we have the big retest of 121.255. Then we got to see what the reaction is. If we get above it, then there's your target at 123.615. We crack that, you're going to go 125.500. That is the measured move here. Left shoulders, head, right shoulders. You flip, do a little flip ski, and you got about 125.5. Now, downside, obviously, we want to watch yesterday's low. That's going to be very key, 113.45. We're holding that, and then we're going to come right down to that 50-day at 111.269 level. Now, you can see here where we're kind of leveling off here on the 52 level, and then we have this... the MACD is still below, which is, basically shows momentum to the downside. But if that can curl back up, when we can take and get above that 8 and that 21-day. Now, BITX is one of my favorite trades. I'm going to show you that here in a little bit. That got as low as 57.93 and the high is 59.90. That's a 2 times a leverage fund. Very nice. But I want to show you on Bitcoin because I have, in my office, I got 2 PCs and I got 10 screens going, okay? So all I have to do is just look up on whatever I'm trading. So when you look at this Bitcoin on a 1 minute chart, okay, see what you want to see is you see where we have this low, okay? And then we made a lower low, and then we made this, then we retested it with a higher low again, basically higher than what that low. That tells you that that's the buying opportunity, and then look how nice it went in and got right on in situation. Same way with here, okay? So if you look at the 5 minute, we got as low as that 113.870 level. And then look here, what we have is 114.05. See, like a double bottom situation. And that tells you, so you put that nice big green candle in, and that tells you got to get long. So we retested it with this bad boy right here at that 114.330. We retested that level. And now look how nice it rallied right on up. So now we got to see where it all shakes out. So this is very, very easy to trade off as your 1 minute and your 5 minute, but always look for things like, higher lows or double bottoms or whatever we have to look at to give you that edge. Okay, let's take a look here now at Bitcoin, IBIT, and BITX. Okay, here we have the old Bitcoin, right? And then we have side by side, we have the IBIT, which is the 1-time leverage. And then we have your BITX, which is a 2-time leverage, okay? Now, Blackstone owns this, BlackRock, owns this, and you're looking at they have $52 billion in assets in this, so this is a lot of volume, but this is just a 1-to-1, so you notice that it's very, very similar to the Bitcoin, just at a hell of a lot cheaper price. Now, this BITX, the reason I like this is it's a 2 times leverage, but you got to be able to handle the juice in both directions if you're long or you're short kind of a situation. But what I do like about it is it pays a dividend. You're averaging right around 11% now, but it breaks it up, so you're getting paid every month. Okay, so last month there, as long as you were in there before the 29th, I got myself a nice good dividend. I had 2,500 shares, so I got like over a $1,500 dividend very, very nicely. Okay, so this is how that you want to trade if you can handle the juice now again. Okay, so here's what we're doing. Again, we're watching is that 8-day, and then we're watching that 21-day. So we're going to do the same thing on the IBIT. We're watching is that 65.74, and then we're going to be watching that 66.34 level. If we can get above all that, then we can come right back to the top of there at that 67.58. We work ourselves right on up there, 67.67, and then we have 68.39, and we can come up to 69.46. So we have the very, very same pattern, just like a little bit different price kind of a situation, but everything looks very, very similar. Now, here on this BITX, which is a 2-time leverage, we're looking for that 60.54 level. Okay, so if it gets above that, then we're going to be looking for that 21-day at 62.36, and then possibly right there at that 63.96, and then we just work yourself right on up. You have that 65 area, come all the way up to 66, and then 68.81 is your big retest, okay, situation. But if you're trading the 1-time leverage or the 2-time leverage, always trade off the Bitcoin. So whatever this is doing, so if this stops at that 8-day, okay, then this will probably stop, and this, not probably, this will stop, and this will stop. So always trade off of this, because this is what you're looking at, the actual commodity, okay? So you're looking at that 8-day, and then we're looking at that 21-day. But again, this is, so if you're trading in this, on this Bitcoin, you say, okay, now I'm going to go and I'm going to sell something when that hits that 8-day. So when this price gets up to that 8-day, even if this comes a little bit shy, you know you want to take some off the table unless we can get above that. So now if we get above this 21-day, okay, then we should be coming pretty much in stride with this 21-day. Then we can say, okay, I can put put it back on, then we can go higher, kind of a situation. So always, always, always put these charts side by side, whatever you're trading. So if you're just trading one and say, I'm just trading this and this, then you just put these side by side or whatever like that. But I like trading all of these. I have a long position in the IBIT. That's a 1-to-1. And I've been just trading this BITX, which is awesome also trade. Okay, let's take a look here now at Disney and Uber. Okay, here we have the old Disney. Now, you know, Disney actually had good numbers, and now it looks like they're really getting together with that NFL, the WWE. It's going to be like a whole sports kind of thing. And now the NFL took a 10% a stake in Disney, okay? So I just think this is probably going to be nothing but just going higher kind of a situation over time kind of a situation. Now, the question is all going to be is, okay, so Netflix is doing it, Amazon is doing it. You know, the problem is now is you can't just turn your TV on and watch a football game, okay? You can watch it, okay, but if, say, you want to watch, well, I want to watch it on Thursday. Well, then you got to have Amazon. Well, they got a special thing like going on Thanksgiving. Well, then you got to watch on Netflix. You got to do that, okay? So, you know, I don't know where the all end game is. It'd just be nice if you could say I can just click it on and I can watch whatever I want kind of a situation. So instead of buying all these apps. But again, they're going to be working and they probably want to come out as the king, okay? So now you can see here where we gap down. So now what we really want to watch on the upside is watch that price channel 115.57 and then watch the top of this candle 115.96. There's your gap. And then we want to look to the bottom there at 117.33. There's your fill. Then we have your 8-day going to 118, and then we have that 21-day of 120, your retest 123, and then we come up to 124.69. Now, when we look at the downside of this, okay, see what we have is we want to watch today's low, that 112.20 level, okay? We get below that, then we're going to come down to the bottom of this candle here, 108.78 level, down to the bottom there, 108.66. There's your gap, okay? And on the top of that candle is 106.19. Gap and fill. And then we have another one down here, 114. And then we look at the fill at 92.74. Gap, fill, okay? Gap, fill. Then we have your 200-day and your 100-day sitting here. So if this falls off, you know what I'm saying? This has a lot of support levels. But once you start getting into that gap, you're going to go directly into that fill kind of a situation. Now, you can see here how we were like into an overbought situation. There was no divergence. This was just going, basically just going higher, and now she just came right on off here. So a lot of times, as I always tell you, it's not the news that matters, it's the reaction to it. Disney had good numbers. They're going to get in with ESPN and all this kind of stuff here. That looked very good news, and then look what happened. Okay, but now you got your 8-day across your 21-day. That's going to be strong resistance going back to the upside. So you got to be a little bit careful and always watch that gap in that fill kind of a situation. But we might have a bottoming tail here. So just got to see how this all shakes out if you are trading it. Now, Uber, they're actually going to be doing a $20 billion buyback on stock. That should be pretty good there for the old Uber. And they have that Uber Eats. And actually, they sound like pretty good on the old conference call. So what you really want to watch on the downside is that 88.27, a level as your 8-day. And then we want to go to today's low, that 86.30. And then we have that 85.42. And then we have your 100-day sitting at 83.69. That's all your support levels, okay? Now, on the upside here, we want to watch that 89.15. There's your 50-day. And then we want to come up to that 90.84 level. And then we can start retesting some of this You're looking at 93.61 until you work your way up to 97.72. But realistically, you got to get back above that 50-day and that 21-day before we can start hitting anything on that order. Now, you can see how this gap, this is all filled right on in here nicely, and this gap here is all filled in. Okay, so that works out very good. But again, we had this like a negative divergence. See how we have a high and a lower high. See how we have a high and a higher high. That's a tell right there. Okay, see, same way with the MACD. That's a tell. So when you see that, you know, even though they had good numbers, they're going to do the buyback, they're going to do this, blah, blah, blah. Well, again, it just didn't seem to work right on out here, so we got ourselves a red candle. But where did it go? Right into that 21-day, and then she stopped it cold. Okay, so right now I would just let this shake out until we can start getting above the 50-day and 21-day. Then we could jump right back in and take it right back to that retest. Okay, let's take a look here now at Mickey D's and AMD. Okay, here we have McDonald's, here we have AMD. Now, McDonald's actually had really, really good numbers. They're trying to cut costs. So a lot of times all your meals there are up to like $10, whatever, if you want to call that a meal. Okay, I'm extremely into fitness. I eat a Mediterranean diet. To me, I look at McDonald's and I can just see that is garbage food. Okay, if you don't have to actually eat it, don't eat it. Now, they do have good coffee. I'll give it that. They do have good coffee, but man, just nah, I don't eat any fast food. I just say that's all that processed crap. It's not for me. However, the stock is, okay? So I do like the stock because a lot of people love McDonald's. You drive through and their drive-through is always packed, okay? Wendy's is packed. You know, Burger King is packed. And that Chick-fil-A, they're like the most packed. I mean, you know what I'm saying? And I still don't get Chick-fil-A. I mean, it's basically a piece of fried chicken with a pickle. I don't get it. And over here, they got to have police directing traffic to get this piece of chicken and a pickle. I don't get it. But anyway, it doesn't matter what I get. Basically, we're looking at what the stock is. Now, you can see here, old sticky here, we're left like an indecision candle. So what we're looking at, the high end of that is that 309.45 level. Now, the next level we're going to be looking at is going to be right in here, looking at that 314 level. This here was that 309 level. Then we have that 314 level, and then you can work yourself all the way on up here to that 321 and then possibly 326 level. This has got a nice looking chart. Okay, bottom, higher, higher lows. Okay, and higher highs. Very good uptrending chart. Okay, same way here. Got to an oversold condition. That's what I always look for, and then that's a buying opportunity. The green crossed your red, and now she could have a good upside. And you're only sitting at 59. You got plenty of room to run here on the upside. Now, on the downside, you really want to watch at 305. Okay, that's going to be key. And then we want to watch that 8-day at 302. And then we have that 200-day at 301. And then we have that 299, which is your 21 SMA. And then we could come back down to retest it. But you have a lot of good support. The price now is above all that simple moving average. Now, to me, I'm long the stock because it got to an oversold condition and then it rallied up. Just because I don't eat the food, that doesn't mean that it's like, now again, I don't mean to insult anybody. If they want to go to McDonald's, that's fine. That's what America's all about. It's up to your choice. You know what I'm saying? It's just that for me, I work out, 2 hours a day and I eat the Mediterranean diet. It's just, I can't do it. Okay. It's just that simple. But again, the stock is really, really good. And I think she's eventually going to go higher. So again, on the downside, watch that 100-day and that 8-day, that 200-day, 50-day, and the 21-day. A lot of good support here. But watch today's high, that 309. We get above that and we're going to go to that 314 level. And we come up here to that 321 level. And then maybe even retest that 326 level here on the upside. But again, you have a nice, good uptrending chart looking very, very bullish on the old Mickey D's. Now, AMD, I thought was a very disappointing. I thought they were going to just rip it up. You know what I'm saying? I used to be a big trader of Intel. That used to be that was one of my trades. And AMD was kind of like, you know what I'm saying? Now it's just the opposite. But I didn't really care for their numbers. Now, when you see these numbers like this, you got to really worry about, not really worry, but you got to kind of be concerned a little bit about NVIDIA, which is coming out on the 27th. Are they going to be doing kind of the same kind of a situation? So you can see this big gap down. But again, we went down, but we're holding that 21-day, that catch-all. Look how nice it held it in the past here, okay? Very, very nice. And we're holding that. So on the downside, watch that 161.89. That's going to be key. We come down to today's low, 166. And then we can come down to the bottom of this candle right there. You're looking at 156. And then we head for that 50-day at that 141. And then we have 123 all the way down here on your 200-day. Now, on the upside, we want to watch today's high. That's 166.18. There's your gap. And then work to yesterday's low, 171.80. gap, and fill. And then we want to watch that 8-day at 174. Then we're going to look to yesterday's high, 177.99, and then you retest at 182. But watch that gap and that fill. But as long as we're holding this 8 days, 21-day, we're still looking very, very good, because give it credit on how many times it has held it into the past. That's what you always want to look at. Did it, when it came down, did it hold it? Did it hold it? Yes. Once you broke to the 8-day, it held it. Now, again, if that catch-all 21 is lost, then you're going to come right to that 50-day. But, very, very good bullish chart. But it really did get to a very, very, overbought condition, and then it sold right on off. Again, now you're curling over. So I would just wait on this, just be a little bit patient, kind of a situation. I'd wait and see if it can get above that gap and then maybe into that fill. But then that 8 days is going to be very, very key. So I would just wait this out a little bit, just to see, what I'm saying? Right now, I would say I would be trading, like me, I'm back into like a lot of trading on NVIDIA. It's a really good buy last week. Okay, that's the thing. But my favorite one is TQQ. It has all this into it. Amazon is ripping up there nice today. Meta's moving up there real nice. Apple's got some mojo. Netflix has, so there's really no shortage of stocks. Even that old Tesla there. Musk man, with his $30 billion paycheck. That's moving up there 10 points there today. So, there's a lot of really good trades here. So I'd be just a little bit patient if you're trading this. All right, that's what I got for you. I'll be back here after your pit close, and we'll take a look there at, Bitcoin. We'll take a look at gold, silver, crude oil, natural gas. We'll take a look at the indexes, which are ripping up nicely. Trade what's in front of you, not what you want.